Hey, Coach, what is the what's the latest on Kevin Durant and his health status?
Kevin is getting better all the time. Has a scan next week, and we'll assess him then. But he hasn't played in a month, basically. So, no matter what the scan says, there'll still be an appropriate ramp up, and just try to make sure that we put him in a position to finish the season strong.
Given what you understand about Blake's health situation right now, what are realistic expectations in terms of what you hope he brings to the team?
Well, that comes down to assessing him and having a plan in the coming days to give him the best opportunity to finish the season strong as well. He hasn't played in a while either, so although he's been working out individually, I think we want to be cautious and make sure that our plan is comprehensive for him to succeed as well. So, a similar answer to Kevin, but we just want to make sure we take a good hard look and come up with a plan that everyone agrees upon and gives him a great chance to have an impact.
Malika Andrews with ESPN.
When you're looking for Blake to make an impact, Steve, what do you have in mind of what he could be for this team?
Yeah, I think Blake is is a small ball five who can make open threes. He's really good in the half role playmaking, playing 4-on-3, 3-on-2, 2-on-1 situations. He's an intelligent player, has great experience and IQ. So, there's plenty of ways that I think he can adapt to and help our team. Once he's fit and ready to go.
Greg Logan with Newsday.
Hi, Steve. Just going back to the whole health situation and trying to look big picture, long term. What do you think the prospect is really to get all these guys healthy and playing together enough time that they can really build some chemistry by the time you get to the playoffs?
Well, we're at the mercy of how this all plays out. The more games, the better. But we do have 35 games left, and right now I don't see anyone having an injury that'll hold them out for the majority of those games. It's just we'll monitor Kevin and Blake, and hopefully we'll have good health and luck in the run-in. But you know what it's like. You can make all the plans you want, and things go sideways sometimes. So we just got to take it day by day and make sure that we make sensible decisions. And with a bit of fortune, we'll be able to have a nice runway with these guys all available and healthy and playing and getting an opportunity to gain cohesion and understanding before the playoffs arrive.
Brian Lewis with the New York Post.
How have you, obviously players, they change their games as they age and as they get a better understanding of how teams are playing them. But how have you seen Blake's game change over the last, say, 2 years from his last, I guess, all NBA campaign?
Sure. Well, he's had a history of knee issues where he's, he used to be a player that lived above the rim, and so he's adapted and become a guy that, handles the ball very well. He passes very well. He's making threes. So he's adapted and changed his game. It's a tribute to, the skill and intelligence that he has as a basketball player that, when you think of Blake Griffin in the first part of his career, you think of a high wire act, and now he's still, able to be very productive, doing other things and not doing that. So he's adjusted and changed his game and flourished in other ways with 3-point shooting, with playmaking, ball handling, those types of skills that are very valuable in today's game, but obviously a different look from the Blake we became accustomed to in the early part of his career.
Alex Schiffer with The Athletic.
Hey, Steve. Did you have much of a relationship with Blake outside of playing against him, prior to him signing with you guys in Brooklyn, and was he able to practice today?
Yeah, I've known Blake, played against him, and, both lived in LA, so saw him around a little bit. He practiced tonight, and it was good to see him out there, and you can see his intelligence and understanding right away. So, we're still going to be cautious with him, but it was great to see him out on the floor and working towards joining this team during games.
Christian Winfield with the New York Daily News. Christian, you're muted.
Can you hear me now?
Gotcha.
I was saying, do you get the sense that a change of scenery, a change of environment, maybe a change of organizational goals for the season can maybe spark Blake from what he was doing earlier this year? I mean, he was averaging like 12 points and 5 rebounds in Detroit. Do you get the sense that maybe his productivity will increase because now he's going to be around players and around a team that actually wants to compete for a championship?
We'll see. There's a lot of elements in that, how he fits in the group, how we can bring the best out of him physically. But also his role will be different. He's asked to do a lot in Detroit. There can be a lot of focus on him defensively, whereas with this team, he won't be as asked to carry as big a load or to absorb so much pressure from the defense. So, I think there's an opportunity for him here to have less pressure, less responsibility, and therefore, show what he can do in a greater light. But this is a process. I'm not sitting here making any expectations on Blake. Just want to see him enjoy his game, feel good, and move as well as he can at this stage in this time frame, and hopefully incorporate him into what we do and allow him to find a nice role.
Brian Mahoney with the Associated Press.
Hey, Steve, if Kevin is out, until another scan next week, that's, more than a month he'll miss. Was this always something that could have been this long, or did this go a little worse than expected along the way somewhere?
No, I think when we got the second scan, we knew this was going to be longer. The first scan, there was bleeding, and the imaging wasn't as clear. So I think we've realized on the second scan that this is the type of timeline we're looking at, and we'll see. That could change. But we were expecting, the potential for this to be a month or whatever it may be. So who knows? Who knows what the scan says? Who knows where this takes us and how soon he's back? But I think when we got the second scan, we knew that this was probably what we were looking at.
Tom Dowd with BrooklynNets.com.
Hey, Steve, you guys have been playing relatively small, often out of necessity. When Blake is ready to go and everybody else is ready to go, how much does his addition become important, just in terms of giving you some more flexibility?
Well, it's funny. We now all of a sudden we have DJ, Blake, Jeff, Nick, and Reggie Perry back. So it's, we went from trying to scrap together a roster to now we have tons of guys and options. So, it's much better position to be in. And as we know, and as we've said from the start, and what's become a reality is that this season is going to throw a lot at us. And, who knows what tomorrow brings. So we just got to continue to be adaptable. And it's a great position coming out of the break to have options. But as we said, a lot of them are just coming back from injuries. And you look at Blake, Kevin, Jeff Green, there's a lot of, even Nick, has recently returned from a long layoff. So we just go slowly. We go day by day. We try to incorporate guys to meet their best level and to find their, a safe landing spot for the rest of the season, but also where they can thrive and find a role. So lots to figure out, and lots more will be thrown at us, I predict. So we just got to stick with it. And right now we have a chance to look at a bunch of guys and progress and start to hopefully get a fuller picture of our squad in the coming weeks.
Kevin O'Connor with The Ringer.
Hey, Steve, with DJ, Claxton, Bruce Brown, others, and now Blake Griffin, you have a ton of options in the front court that provide way different skills for defensive schemes. And you mentioned, there's time to figure things out now, but I'm curious, what is the value of having such a range of styles and skill sets available for the season, especially series to series in the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, I think big picture, it gives us versatility and gives us options. They all have a slightly different profile and skill set. We still have, there's not a ton of time. This isn't 5 options over the course of 2 years where we know clearly it can define roles and units and matchups and rotations, but, it's great options to have. We've found a way for Bruce to play, like you said, in the front court. Offensively, we've found a way to incorporate Nick back quickly from a long layoff. DJ, I think, has found a real connection with James, which has helped him. You go down the line, Jeff Green gives us versatility. Blake theoretically gives us versatility if we can get him back. And at times, Kevin can play the 5. So there's options there. I think there's a lot of work to be done to know exactly what we have, what our best rotations are. But, I think the rest of the way, a lot of them, I hate to say this, will probably be made for us by availability and things that are thrown at us, and with this waterlogged schedule. So the positive is we have options. The negative is we'd love to get a long look at each of them, and we may not. There's some guesswork that's going to go into this and trying to figure out what our rotations, what our best lineups are, what our best matchups are for different squads and units are. So versatility, though, is really important in the modern game, and so it's something that we do have at this moment.
Malika Andrews with ESPN.
Steve, I'm just wondering, on the scan next week, what is it that, to the best of your understanding, that they're looking for in what would tip Kevin over the edge of being like, yes, he can resume that ramp up on court basketball activity that would give way to a game?
I just think seeing the injury heal. Frankly, that simple. I mean, he's been on the court, he's been doing a lot of work, and just making sure that it's had the appropriate healing response in the window that we've had here. He had the 2 weeks, and then theoretically he's had 2 weeks in a scan, another 2 weeks in a scan. If it's progressing in the right direction, that's the number one thing. And then two, is it fully healed? How much more can we predict he has to go for it to be fully healed? But he's already on the court. He's already working individually and putting himself in a position to ramp up whenever, or escalate that ramp up whenever he's, the scan gives us the appropriate info.
So is what he can't do right now 5-on-5, or the running piece, or he's on the court, he's shooting? What is it that he's not doing then?
Yeah, he's definitely not doing 5-on-5. He's definitely not doing any full court high speed running, but he's doing a lot of half court, tight space, shooting, rhythm work. But we'll wait for the scan, I think, to escalate and take the next step.
Thank you.
Jeff Zilgett with USA Today.
Hey, Steve, I apologize if you've been asked this over the past month, but with Kevin's injury, is there any concern, or was there any concern that it was compensatory to the Achilles injury? I realize it's a different leg and all that, but is there any concern that they are related?
No. You never want to rule out compensatory patterns, because even if you can't diagnose it, perhaps it's a part of anything. But that's kind of my point, is that but through his history, through medical history, and assessments, we don't feel like these two are related at all. And he's doing very well right now, and we all feel really positive about the direction he's going. But we just need to be very cautious, because he's a really important player for us.